Deer hunting videos. In this deer hunting video, I am back on my 10-acre property and I am bolting an old video camera arm to the wall because I'm just going to try to use that for my videoing and see how that works out. The tripod just kind of gets in the way. I also put up some tint on the windows to try to help, keep the deer from being able to see me. The drawback to having tinted windows is that it makes it really hard for me to get video footage now. On the one window, I had a corner of it peeled back enough so that I could film through just the plexiglass and get some half decent footage. But for the other windows, I gotta maybe peel a corner back just so I can videotape out of them. One thing I also did is, in order to get out of the shooting house without spooking the deer off and having them know that I'm there, I went out and bought a predator call and I left it on the ground with the decoy portion attached. Because when I got into my shooting house, I hit the button to see if the decoy would move, so that I would know if I would even be able to turn it on later. And it did work. The problem though, since I left it out in the open so that I could actually see if it was working, the deer also saw it and it was spooking the deer. And that kind of hurt my hunt because they were getting real nervous when they got near the thing. And they're like, hey, that's not normal. That's not supposed to be there. So I had other deer come out, but when they would get over by the decoy or the predator call, they would really go on high alert. And there's a house off to the east of my soybean field. They were also real nervous looking at the house. The people have dogs. So at one point, the deer came back into the turnips next to the shooting house, and they were just on edge at this point. Fortunately though, they kind of calmed down, and later in the hunt, the 14-pointer showed up. Now, if you saw my last video, I had this buck at 30 yards. Before I really got a good look at him, I just saw his rack, and I was going to shoot if he took a couple more steps, but instead he turned around and went the other way into my soybeans. During this past week, I really analyzed my trail camera pictures of this buck, and I just was staring at his neck. His body looks kind of like a 3.5-year-old body, but the neck looks like a 2.5-year-old buck's neck. Where it lands on the front of the body, he's a 2.5 or a 3.5-year-old deer. And he's already probably in the 140s of a score for this rack. If this deer gets another year or 2 years, he's going to be a 200-inch deer, possibly. So I started contacting all my neighbors. Several of them are on board with passing this deer. So I decided I'm going to take a chance and pass on this deer. As you can see, the buck walks by me broadside. Now this window is tinted, so it looks dark, but it's actually 20 minutes before dark. Here he is broadside, and he's actually going to stop here and look the other way. I could have totally shot this deer broadside, standing still. Perfect. Look at this. So, when you think about being able to shoot a nice buck, I could have done it right here. I could have shot this buck. I exhibited the skill set to put myself in the presence of a deer where I could have got a 20-yard shot, this buck. I did a ton of work this year to improve my property, to get more deer to come on my property. It's working. I'm just hoping that people will respect my posted signs and my property, and not mess up my spot. I mean, we'll see. But so far it's working. And I mean, even at the end of the hunt, I had a deer come right under me. So I got a little footage of me putting the camera out the window as I turned on the coyote call and to spook off the deer. Folks, I did it. I exhibited the willpower to pass on this really nice buck. He would score probably higher than any of these bucks I have on the wall back over here. So he could have been the highest scoring deer I ever harvested, but he's not the oldest or most mature deer I've ever harvested. He's a young deer. So I'm going to roll the dice. I'm taking a chance. I did my legwork. I contacted all the neighbors, asking them to join me in passing this deer. And I'm just hoping that they do, that they can step up and have the maturity to pass as well. We'll see. One guy would not respond to me, so I think he's not participating, but hopefully the buck doesn't go by him. If it does, and if it happens, if he gets it, so be it. It's not the end of the world. I think hunting gives us the greatest, I shouldn't say greatest, a great opportunity to grow in holiness and virtue. The experience of my passions, wanting to harvest that deer, and then making a willful choice to overcome my feelings with a decision that I came to in advance. It's a maturing opportunity. Like it was pretty intense, and I knew I could do it, and I did do it. Now in life, there's going to be things that are going to attract me and that are going to inspire my passions to want to do something that maybe I shouldn't, or whatever. It's applicable. I've just demonstrated, even to myself, you can do that. You can overcome that. I'm pointing this out because it's something that all hunters have the opportunity to grow in. Pick a buck. Say, I'm not going to shoot this buck. If for no other reason, just to give yourself a chance to make a willful choice in an intense moment where your passions are trying to compel you to do something. This is what we need to do in life in some situations if we're being tempted to do something that's wrong. It's not wrong to shoot a deer. It's not wrong to shoot this buck, but it gives me an opportunity to train myself for the moments where I'm being tempted to do something that's wrong. And it gives me strength to know that I can and to be able to do that. So this is something that we as hunters have at our disposal to train ourselves in that a lot of people don't have. And so I'm making the point to you for you to think about when you're out there. Go through your trail. If you run trail camera pictures, pick a buck that's nice, maybe even a younger one, and say, all right, I'm going to hold myself to not shoot this deer. Even if somebody else gets the deer, so what? Because the most important thing we take with us when we die is who we are, our character. This is character development, my friends. This is more valuable than antlers on the wall. You can show yourself, I could have harvested that deer. I have the skill set. Having that set of antlers isn't the most important thing. I'm showing you what the most important thing is, and it's growing as a person. And it's awesome. And I felt like a hoorah after I passed on the deer because I really overcame that compulsion, that desire, that temptation, however you want to word it. I did it. And that's something you kind of earn. You've got that now. So what's hunting all about? Is it demonstrating that you're a good hunter? I just did that. Is it having antlers on the wall? I don't think so, because they don't matter when it's all said and done. So anyhow, stay tuned. who knows what's going to happen in the next couple years. But if that deer makes it through 2 years, he's going to be roughly 200 inch, if not more. Now, if he comes by me next year as a 170 or 180, I don't know if I'm going to pass on him again. I'd love to see him hit 200. I'd love to see him make it 2 years. But guess what, buddy? I don't know that I'll be passing on you next year. And the other thing is, I've only got 10 acres. It's not like it's easy for me to manage for age. I'm rolling the dice. Let's see what happens. Stay tuned, folks. Take this little lesson, take this video, enjoy it. Get out there and go hunting, and think about how you're going to grow as a person through that hunt. Not worrying about getting the deer. How are you going to grow as a person? Until next time, take care. May the good Lord bless you.